Oh yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, oh yeah, hey yeah, hallelujah, hallelujah, oh yeah, hey yeah, 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 hallelujah, hallelujah, oh yeah, hey yeah, oh yeah, hey yeah, hallelujah, hallelujah, oh yeah, hey yeah, 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 hallelujah, hallelujah, oh yeah, hey yeah, 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 hallelujah, hallelujah, oh yeah, hey yeah, oh yeah, hey yeah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I am listening to the music of the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit. Oh, what a song! Oh, what a song! God is singing. God is singing. I will listen all day long. All day long. I will listen all day long. All day long. Oh yeah, hey yeah. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I am listening to the music of the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit. Oh, what a song. God is singing. God is singing. I will listen all day long. All day long. I will listen all day long. All day long. Oh yeah, hey yeah. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Oh yeah, hey yeah. Hallelujah.
How about it for our guest musicians, Narian and Janet? Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. That song was written by Ricky Byers. Yes. She's coming here. June 1st. June 1st. Tickets are already on sale on the website. We will have a table on the patio, but get your tickets now online because it will sell out. Anyway, good morning. Welcome, Narian and Janet. Take it away.
Thank you. And I noticed I didn't see anything on the schedule for May 11th. So come on up to Vacaville. We're doing a soul-singing, sacred, singing, meditational service up there on Saturday, May 11th.
It's good stuff. Hey, y'all want to stand up for this, or do you just, okay. Or get the person next to you to hold you up. That's what I liked. I want to be like water. Oh, I'm sorry. Love, 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 and a hug.
There we go.
Just, I'm here to help.
We got words.
Look into the mirror. What do you notice? What do you see? God's own expression, manifesting, holy and fully. I am pure and perfect. I am wonderful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. I am free and endless. I am beautiful. Love, love, love in the mind of God. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sing it again. Look into the mirror. What do you notice? What do you see? God's pure potential manifesting, holy and fully. I am pure and perfect. I am wonderful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. I am free and endless. I am beautiful. Smoking this morning.
Or just 4 minutes.
Good morning, I'm on. So you've met Noreen and Janet already?
Yeah.
Yay! And with them is Brenda and Elliot. And as they've already started to do, they are going to spread their musical heart with us. So thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. And as she said, my name is Ron. That's a joke. You guys all know me. Come on. Help me out here. Good morning. My name is Ron, and it is my privilege. Thank you so much for joining me here at the 11:30 service at Unity of Walnut Creek of California. Thank you so much for being here. It is my privilege to say that to you this morning, and I hope you know that you're all privileged to be among yourselves, because the key word today I guess from that song is love, and you are the loving expression of God, because I can see it from here. So give yourselves credit. So please turn off your cell phones to silence or turn them off, which way you want to go. And then after you do that, could you please help me welcome our friends online and turn to the camera and welcome them. Yay! Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate it. Please know that you are an important part of our spiritual family, and we wouldn't be who we are without you. So thank you for being here. Okay. It says unity is grounding. I feel like I need to get grounded after all this. So unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Here at Unity of Walnut Creek, we have a mission, and that mission is this. In loving community, we empower spiritual growth by modeling and teaching universal principles. Amen? 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 All right. Great. This is the 11:30 service, right? Just checking. Just checking. And so now I'd like to invite you to join me in affirming our statement of faith. And before we do it, just take a deep breath. Move into your hearts and take a deep breath. And when you exhale, you're just going to say thank you. All right? So just fill your heart with that loving breath you have. And then let go and say thank you. And then let's say our statement together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is. And so now it's time to welcome our newcomers. And I invite the ushers to come forward, please. If you are with us for the very first time, please raise your hand so an usher may bring you a welcome packet. And if you prefer not to raise your hand, please go to our bookstore, which is right across the quad there, and pick up a welcome packet there, or at the welcome table, which is across the quad. There is a connection card in your packet. Please take it to our bookstore to receive a special gift. And we hope you'll choose to stay and meet some of us on the patio and after the service. And please know that you are our special gift today. So thanks for being with us. In front of you, in the seat and pocket in front of you, there are connection cards. And these are for everyone who wishes to make a comment or a prayer request. And if you do fill out one of these cards, our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week. You may also share feedback or request information. Please place your card in the basket with the offerings. And now, it's huggy time. So please greet your neighbor, and if you don't know them, please ask permission to hug. Thank you.
Here we go. I want to be like water. Want to be like water coming down the mountain in the shadowy canyon, flowing from pool to stream. Want to be like water, hill uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Want to be like water coming down the mountain in the shadowy canyon, flowing from pool to stream. Want to be like water, hill uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. One more time. Want to be like water.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have some wonderful things happening here at Unity of Walnut Creek, and here's just a few of them. This afternoon, at the Unity Bookstore, we are having an author reading today at 1 o'clock with Alberto Ramon as he shares from his book, Wise Decisions with the I Ching. He'll reveal an ancient tool that will help you access immediate, intuitive answers to most of your questions. Not all of them, but most of them. And you can enjoy a light lunch and receive 25% off all merchandise. Unity's Youth and Family Ministries are hosting an Easter egg hunt with all of the trimmings. There'll be games, a bouncy house, and a visit from the Easter Bunny. Yeah! Today is the last day to register interested children. Sign up for the volunteer and drop off donations. Be sure to stop by our Youth and Family Ministry table in the community room after the service. And if you don't know where the community room is, it is right down the right side of the building across the quad. So please join them. Oh, would you like to have a clean car for Easter? Cool. The youth of Unity are having a car wash this Saturday from 9 to 3. For only $10, you can get your car looking spiffy. You say that with me? Spiffy. Yeah. Cool. And at the same time, you can help the youth to raise funds for the regional rallies. So please get your car washed. Join in the fun on April 28th as we celebrate our wonderful volunteers who have done so much for us this year. Enjoy lunch, fun activities, and connect with old friends and make some new ones. So please see your bulletin for more information about these and other events at our center. And now, I'd like to invite Reverend Kristen to the platform.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Palm Sunday. I had a minister friend who liked everybody to give each other a high five on Palm Sunday, because it's Palm Sunday. But you can if you want. But that isn't really why I came up. I came up to tell you about something we're celebrating during this Holy Week. Many of you say that you miss the ritual from, say, your Catholic background. And, some of you are nodding your heads as I say that. So we bring the ritual to you in unity form and have a communion service during this Holy Week. I love this kind of thing. I love rituals. So this is an opportunity for us to have communion. For us, it's bread and honey and grapes, and they all have metaphysical meaning. And so it's this really special service. We come together on Thursday. There'll be sacred music and meditation. You can give communion if you come with a sweetheart or somebody close to you, you can actually give each other communion if you'd like. It's very beautiful and intimate. And then we also will have some special presenters as a part of this. Kaleo and Elise Ching, who are fairly new to our community, are going to be providing the Abba Ima, the Lord's Prayer, in Qigong form. So I know, it's going to be beautiful. And the words are really beautiful, too. It's a slight translation of the original prayer. So do come and enjoy with us this Thursday for this very special service. And then on Friday, for Good Friday, our prayer chaplains will hold a prayer vigil. So we'll have our usual noon meditation time with some readings and meditation, and then they'll move into silent meditation. So come join our prayer chaplains from noon to 2 for Good Friday this week. It's already here. It's already upon us. So please join us. And now we have another very special event that I'm putting this down so you can see our beautiful new members that I'd like to invite forward at this time. So it is Eileen Cheng, Keegan Duncan, and they'll be from left to right. Lynn Hill, come on up. Ted Oliari. Lee Sparling. Colleen and Lee Sullivan. And wow, just fresh off the plane, Mary Ann Weckler is able to, Mary Anna Weckler was able to join us. We're thrilled that you were able to come, Mary Anna. Not with us are Lloyd Ramos, who also became a member, and Tessie Tennyson. So I want to tell you about these amazing people. And one of them said, well, we get to introduce ourselves? And I thought, wow, that would be so special, and it would take the whole service. So, but I hope that what you will do is come and greet them and let them introduce themselves to you individually so you can get to know these amazing people, as I have a little bit. Oh, I'm going to cry. Because it really was, every time this is always a very special experience to get to know newbies and to come together and to talk about our history and our principles and kind of where we've been and where we've come. And this group, many of them are some of them are new to Unity, and some of them are returning to Unity. So we've got kind of a spectrum, but everybody had a really strong foundation of spiritual understanding and background. So you've got some really powerful spiritual folks already standing here. They are not newbies. They're just new to Unity. So I want to welcome these 10 new members, those who are standing before you and those who are not with us this morning but are becoming members. And membership to Unity of Walnut Creek, I'm going to slow down now, it is a commitment. It's making a commitment to the spiritual community and a personal commitment to one's growth and understanding and expression of the love of Spirit. So we believe here in divine wholeness as our natural state of being, that oneness is our relationship to every living thing, and the earth is a prosperous place. We lack nothing in truth. We come together here to support and remind each other of who we are in spirit and to co-create the kind of world that we want to live in. Everything we do here at Unity of Walnut Creek is based on our core values, the very essence, our mission, what we're here to be and to do, and we believe. And by inviting all of you into membership, we acknowledge your desire to know the divine, to understand and to love and to live by spiritual principle, your desire to take responsibility for your own awakening and to consciously commune with Spirit in prayer, and your desire to support this community with your presence, your participation, your prayers, your talents, your service, and your giving. If you are ready to do so, please say, I am. Our baptism today, our spiritual baptism, includes both a water baptism, which is like the release of whatever beliefs might stand in our way, as well as a spiritual affirmation of commitment. And so we begin with the water blessing, which is individual. And now I invite our new members to speak together our affirmation of commitment. Together, I affirm my oneness with my Creator and my awareness of the divine within me. I will always look to Spirit as my source. I affirm my dedication to spiritual principles of truth and my willingness to seek, learn, and express them. I affirm my intent to behold and honor the Christ Spirit in others and to love to the best of my ability. I affirm my commitment to honor my body, soul, and our earth home by living in wholeness and unity with all of life. I affirm my practice of prayer and meditation, seeking daily quiet times and remembering others in my prayers. I affirm any commitment to be a supportive member of this spiritual community by sharing my gifts of service and prosperity. And to all of you in the congregation, are you now affirming your dedication and your support to these new members and to their spiritual growth, to welcome them into this family and to behold the divine in them? If so, say, I am. I am. And so we'd like to gift all of you with some Unity materials and a certificate of membership. And Ron, our licensed Unity teacher, is going to be distributing those and welcoming you. And as a final blessing of welcome and acknowledgement of the divine in you, our musicians are going to lead us in a song that we are going to sing to them as a blessing. I believe this was written by Lisa.
Yeah. All right. So we've only done this once before, and maybe you weren't here last time. So as you learn it, please start to sing along. Let's start that again. There we go. I behold divine in you, and I'm warmed by the flame in your heart. Oh, today you join our family, and we're thankful for all that you are. Sing that again. I behold divine in you, and I'm warmed by the flame in your heart. Oh, today you join our family, and we're thankful for all that you are. This is the different part. Love binds us all. Love binds us all. Love binds us all. Love binds us all. I behold divine in you, and I'm warmed by the flame in your heart. Oh, today you join our family, and we're thankful for all that you are. Keep shining your light. Keep shining your light. Oh, keep shining your light. Keep shining your
home, friends. Let's give them a round of applause. So now we invite you to prepare for a time of meditation, to take all this beautiful emotion into our hearts and to allow our musicians to lead us after our reading, which Jan Charette, one of our prayer chaplains, will start us off with this reading. Thank you, Jan.
Transfiguration. My mind and body are radiant within the light of spirit. Just as the transfiguration of Jesus took place on a high mountain, I am transfigured when I rise to a plane, to a high state of spiritual consciousness. My thoughts are transfigured by the shining light of truth, and my countenance changes. The light of the Holy Spirit shines through me when I'm in this state of being, and I feel triumphant and joyful. When I open my entire being to the light of truth, I seem to hear the voice of God saying to me, "This is my beloved child in whom I am well pleased." And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became dazzling white. Matthew 17:2.
What is this life flowing through my veins? Can it be other than divine? What is this life flowing through my veins? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite home. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite home. What is this energy flowing through my form? Can it be other than divine? What is this energy flowing through my form? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite home. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite home. What is this power flowing through my will? Can it be other than divine? What is this power flowing through my will? Can it be other than divine? In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite home. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite home. In thy light, in thy love, in thy joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite home.
We allow that infinite Om, the echo of the drum beat that echoes the heartbeat, to reverberate throughout our beings. Primordial sound of the Om, from the very beginning, the first sound. We were there. We heard that sound. For there is no time. Time collapses in spirit. And from the first time that our ancestors put their hands on the drum, our hearts responded with the resonance of the earth. So it is both earthly and heavenly, human and divine, with all points reaching us, that we sit here from the beginning of time and out into the future of being. We are a point of light, a pause between the breath, a luminous creation of the One. And so we allow that Om and the light and the beat of our hearts to bring us home to communion with Spirit in the silence. We are enlivened and renewed by this simple coming together in the silence. And the music reminds us once again of our wholeness, of our aliveness, of all that we are connected to. And so it is.
In thy love, in thy joy, I am one. I am one with the infinite. Oh. 'Cause 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 I am one with the infinite. Geez, it's good to be here with you guys. Man, there is nobody like you guys. You are, yeah. I mean that in a good way, too. You are just so awesome. We're going to give you the gifts of the goddess. Let's do it.
Are you ready? Okay.
These are the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? Oh, the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? Love, are you ready? Joy, are you ready? Peace, are you ready? Are you ready to receive? These are the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? The gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? Love, are you ready? Joy, are you ready? Yeah. Peace, are you ready? Are you ready to receive? These are the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? Oh, the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? Compassion, I am ready. Forgiveness, I am ready. Yes, I am. Laughter, I am ready. I am ready to receive. Passion, I am ready. Success, I am ready. Abundance, I am ready. I am ready to receive. So the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? Oh, the gifts of the goddess, love, joy, and peace. Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? Are you ready to receive? Are you ready to receive? Gifts of the goddess, are you ready to receive? Give me a yes. I am ready to receive. Yes. I am ready to receive. Yes. I am ready to receive. The goodness of Narayan and Janet is expanding with Elliot and Brenda. Thank you. Now, I know we've spoken it today, but before today, were you familiar with the idea of transfiguration? How many of you are familiar with that? Oh, lots of you. Okay, good. Well, we're done then. Because that's what I was going to tell you about. But maybe we'll look at it in a new way. Should I tell you anyway? Okay. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. You're very gracious. So I figured, where should we start? But maybe with a professor of transfiguration. Did you know there was such a thing, such a class? Well, it's true. Minerva McGonagall is the professor of transfiguration. Some of you are on to it already. At Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
We're going to take a look at the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on the first day of school when Harry and Ron are late for class, and see how Minerva McGonagall shows us what transfiguration looks like. Let's take a look.
Amazing. Can you imagine the look on McGonagall's face if we were late? That was bloody brilliant.
Thank you for that assessment, Mr. Weasley. Perhaps it would be more useful if I were to transfigure Mr. Potter and yourself into a pocket watch. That way one of you might be on time. And perhaps a map. I trust you don't need one to find your seats.
I tested it out on Grace, who some of you know is my goddaughter who lives with us, and she's 5. And she went, wow! So I said, okay, good. It's good to go. So did you know that you could transfigure into a cat if you wanted to? Some shamans say, that if you know that you're a hawk, you can transform yourself or transfigure yourself into a hawk or a cat or whatever it is that you want to. Now, this may feel like way out woo-woo magic to you today, but transfiguration is this very essence of kind of a shape-shifting, a change in countenance, a change in the way that we appear. And because nothing is really solid, even though it so appears, there is this constant movement of energy that can reshape itself, reform itself, and then go back out into the ethers and reshape and reform itself again. It's all energy, right? So we're going to look today at the Transfiguration and also the experience that Jesus had during the Transfiguration of his own being. The point is not necessarily to change ourselves into cats or hawks. But it could be. It can be. It's your transfiguration. We honor everybody's path here. But the point is more that we realize that we are more than we realize. You see? You know, we are more than we realize. We are so much more than the solidity that we think the world is made of, that there is this movement all the time of light, creating and recreating, and that we participate in that, and that our beings are infused with that truth. So I want to turn to the scriptures again and take a look at this. And remember, last week we looked at the story of Moses. Last week we looked at the aspect in this series of resurrecting the cosmic Christ, of the process of service, of here I am, you know, that Moses made himself available. And that whole experience happened to Moses on a mountaintop. So remember, whenever we go to the mountaintop, it's signifying that higher plane of consciousness. And so there's Moses on the higher plane of consciousness, yet Moses is in relationship with God. So he's having a conversation with God in the burning bush. Still phenomenon going on there, but it's a relationship. What happens then, it takes a long time, is another spiritual teacher comes along who isn't in relationship with God, but one with God. Right? Remember, Jesus would always say, I and the Father are one. Or I am the vine, you know, all the I am sayings. So God was trying to send Moses down the mountain to his people to say, I am sent me, so that he could begin to know himself as that divinity. But it was like too soon for us, you know? And it might feel too soon for you today even, you know, because we're always in that evolutionary process. But Jesus came along and said, I get it. I am that I am. I am the one, I am who I am sent me, and I am that. And showed us how to be that oneness, right? So in his experience of going to the mountaintop, which there were a few, but in this particular story, He goes to the mountaintop and he brings 3 disciples with him. Whenever he's going to do something really important, he brings these 3 disciples, Peter, James, and John. Why does he bring those 3? Because in the 12 powers, as we understand it in Unity, those 3 represent faith, wisdom, and love. So if you've got something big going on, you're going to want to draw forth or activate those 3 energies within you, those 3 spiritual qualities. Bring the best that you can of your wisdom so you can discern the situation, because we're not really sure what's going to happen here. We're walking into our first day of Transfiguration class. So not quite sure who's going to change or what's going to change or what's going to happen here, right? And then we want to bring love always, right? We always want the companionship of love, of the divine love that comforts, that allows us to know the truth, that connects, that reminds us, that makes us feel a sense of safety. And then we also want our faith, right? That rock, that sense of knowing, that sense of this God's with me. I got this. I am that. I can be that. And so that's what he brings, because he knows something's going to happen. There's nothing in the scriptures that indicates he knows what's going to happen, but that he is guided to go to the mountaintop, and so he does. So I just want to read to you what actually happens. So this is from Matthew 17, and Jan reflected a little bit of that in her reading. So it says, Jesus took with him Peter, James, and his brother John, and led them up to the high mountain. And he was transfigured before them. And his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became dazzling white. Then Moses and Elijah appeared, talking with him. And Peter said to Jesus, Lord, it's good that we're here. If you wish, I will make dwellings for you here, one for you and one for Moses and one for Elijah. And while he was still speaking, this big cloud comes over them, overshadowing them, a bright cloud. And from the cloud comes a voice saying, This is my Son, my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell to the ground and they were overcome by fear. But Jesus came and he touched them and he said, Get up, do not be afraid. And they looked up and saw no one there except Jesus. And as they were coming down the mountain, Jesus said, Tell no one about this vision until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead. Now, what the heck happened? So there was this transfiguration, this visible experience of the radiance of the divine coming through a human being. You ever experienced that? You ever see somebody look more radiant than they did maybe a moment ago or a day ago, or something happens and you see that radiant countenance, that look upon their face? That's it. And then there's that sort of maybe even shining, brilliant light, a kind of sense of radiant light. We can see that more easily if we stop looking with a hard focus and look with a soft focus. When you let your eyes relax into a soft focus, it opens up to be able to see more of energy. So you may sometimes see auras and that kind of thing, or around living beings, or could be around a chair, because that's a living being too. But you might be able to start to see more of that radiant, dazzling light that is there around every living thing, because it's vibrating with the divinity. It is made of that cosmic Christ, and it's able to shine through that cosmic Christ. And we, too, are able to transfigure ourselves, to move ourselves from one kind of countenance, one kind of way of being in the world, to showing up in a whole different way. The key is it kind of happens through us, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So when we see, it's like the invisible now becomes visible when we see in this way. And we see from that mountaintop kind of view, right? That higher plane of consciousness that we've moved to. Sometimes in our earthly life, we see in a different way when we're at the kitchen table point of view. Anybody ever have some really important things happen around a kitchen table? It's where it all happens, right, really? Isn't it? The best of conversations, the breaking of bread, the sharing of food, the connection, the real heart kind of centered experiences that happen. One day, my friend Cynthia and I were sitting at her kitchen table. Now, Cynthia and I would always say when we went on outings together or got together really at any time that it was going to be a magical mystery tour. Magical metaphysical mystery tour or magical mystical, it had any of those words in it because things happened when we got together. I mean, I don't know what it was, but something about our energies together, really cool things happened when we were in each other's presence. And I'm just laughing because I'm now thinking about some of the craziness that went on. But I want to tell you about one of the experiences when I was sitting at her kitchen table. So just a few weeks before, I had received this thing in the mail. It was a picture on paper of Jesus' image, kind of like the image you see of the shroud. So it's kind of more that fuzzier image, but you can tell it's supposed to be Jesus as we know him in the art that we've seen. And it had instructions. It didn't have any return address, so I didn't know where it came from. I assumed it came from some kind of local church. And the instructions were to unfold it. It looked like a rug, but it was paper, and to kneel on it and to say prayers on this rug. Well, I thought it was interesting, so I kept that part and just kind of put it aside, but I didn't do anything with it. So I'm over at Cynthia's, and it's pinned to the wall in her kitchen. Now, Cynthia has had some really powerful experience with Jesus. So Jesus is really an important master teacher for her. She had an experience where it was a vision where she saw him in a field, and then after that she had something like an enlightenment experience that lasted for a couple of weeks where she was just in this divine state that was a very shape-shifted, transfigured completely kind of state that she stayed in for a couple of weeks. Kind of like Eckhart, if you know Eckhart Tolle's story, kind of like what he talks about, how he was completely shifted and he was like on a park bench until he kind of took up his new identity. And so it was like that for her for a couple weeks, just experiences of being fully immersed in the divinity. So that's probably part of the reason why she pinned it up, because of that feeling and that experience. So we're just sitting there talking, and we began to look at it, and I said, I got this in the mail too. And as we were looking at it and talking, something started to happen. The face started to change. And it would change into another being's face, and then another being's face, and then another being's face. And it became just this really amazing experience of the face of the Christ through time. It was, and we saw some of the same things afterwards. And actually during it, we were talking a little bit. I was surprised at some of the things I saw. I saw soldiers. I saw soldiers from the Civil War in that kind of garb. I saw women from the 1800s that looked, very well dressed. And I saw men with heavy beards from Middle East and darker skin. And she saw more Native American and Buddhist, but we saw a lot of the same kinds of images too. And there was a lot of crossover. And this went on. This maybe started around dinner time, and we just stayed with it till 1 or 2 in the morning when we finally got too tired and just went to bed, because it just kept coming. It was face after face after face after face. And it was so engaging and enthralling because it was clear to us that what both of us that we were seeing is, and that we were both having this experience simultaneously. How often do you get to do that? Usually if we have this kind of experience, we're looking around to tell somebody, and it's like you just don't have the words, right, to ever explain it to anyone. But if you get to experience it with someone, like Peter, James, and John, who got to stand there and see that radiance unveiled for them, there was a different kind of synergy to that. And so it is for us as people in spiritual community, that we get to behold these kinds of changes, these transfigurations of one another with each other. That is a really beautiful gift, to be in spiritual community with one another and to be able to allow ourselves to go to those deeper places. Yes, we all love to be in community to socialize with one another, but we're also all here for a much deeper purpose, right? You wouldn't be here in this community if all you wanted was a social experience. What you want is a spiritual experience with community. What you want is that kind of experience side by side that really lets you know that we are more than we realize we are. And to remember that together, to see that together, to behold that together is such a gift, isn't it? So what's important when we have these experiences is that we don't think just because we've had an experience of some kind of phenomenon that we want to cling to it in some way, right? So that experience doesn't mean that it was something special that happened for just Cynthia and I. It happened because it was something that we needed to experience. Just like, if nothing ever happens to you of this nature, you probably don't need it. So it's not like so it's important that we don't cling to things and make them something and then build it in our ego as something important. If Peter did this in a really visceral way, in a really literal way, right? So there they are having this amazing experience. Jesus is showing them this, or it's coming through him, this radiance divinity, this experience of the white light. And what does Peter say? Good thing we're here, because we can build a dwelling for you and for Moses and for Elijah. It's kind of like last week's we talked about service. It's like the overdoing aspect of that, right? That it's like, okay, now you're in the midst of this transcendent spiritual experience and you want to pin it to the earth. Got to make it physical, got to put it in a container, And so that's kind of sometimes what we do, isn't it? It's that clinging. It's that, and as soon as he does that, Moses and Elijah disappear, the cloud comes over, and God reminds them this is about Jesus, and it's about all of us, and it's about reminding us that you are my beloved in whom I am well pleased. And when we can receive that fully, know that we are the beloved and the divine is well pleased, that we get it, that we're waking up, that we're beingness, and that divine light shines through us. And then everybody can see and behold that divinity, not to make you special, but to recognize who we are, all of us. So that's why the Transfiguration is so important, because it is about the visible shift that happens and the recognition of what has happened. The recognition of that, the realization of what that means for us. That we are not just this dwelling place, but there is like the tents that he wants to build. There's an over-tenting thing that happens, right? That blows that apart, that says, no, this isn't about getting physical right now. This is about you recognizing the fullness, the energy, the power, the light, the divine love that you are. So when we move away then from that clinging, we can see some other ways to do things. When Peter does that, it's kind of like the old adage, don't just stand there, do something. That's kind of what he's operating from, But actually in spirituality sometimes, it's don't just do something, stand there. Right? Or sit there, or be there, or lie down on the earth and allow the sun to remind you of the divine rays that you are made of, or the stardust that you are made of in the evening. So that in nature, we see examples of this, to bring it down to earth a little bit more. Have you ever seen a snake shed its skin? Yeah, it's an amazing thing to watch. So do you ever see the snake sort of trying to get back in the skin, like shimmying back? No, it's so happy and knows what it's supposed to do. And it gladly and without resistance just helps wiggle out of that which wants to be shed. And so it's for us, too, that we get attached to the old ways of being. But as we, whatever word you wish, shapeshift, transfigure, transform, transmute, all of these things are cousins of one another. And as we are moving in those directions, we need to be like the snake, to sort of like wiggle off that old way of being. Because what comes out, if you've gotten to watch that, is that the snake is like sleek and shiny and beautiful, and the colors are more vibrant. And it seems reborn right before us. And that's what we do over and over again. Or like the caterpillar that completely transfigures. That completely transfigures itself and leaves behind its old body and its old way of being. It used to crawl around on leaves and on the ground, and now it's become a winged thing. It's completely transformed and come into that transcendent big picture kind of creature. And so for us, we too, I think we have a butterfly there somewhere, and there's a beautiful one. And so that's what we become, right? So does the caterpillar go, oh no, I can't do that, Not getting in the cocoon, nope, It just allows. And so over and over again, we are shown by the spiritual masters and by the masters of the planet, the creatures, how to be, how to allow, how to surrender, how to give over to the one that wants to radiate and be known through us. And to see with the kind of eyes that can see what is happening in us and through us and to one another. And to reflect that back. So there is that critical mass idea that one wakes up and then another wakes up and enough of us wake up and enough of us are in the radiant light of God, enough of us are transfigured at one time or another that the shift of the whole planet happens. And then we all remember who we are. That's really why we're here anyway, isn't it? To shift it all into that remembrance of who we are. The healer Lauren Torres says that when she's doing her healing work, she looks to the place where the weaving happens. So she looks to the place where something was woven, where the energy of weaving happens. So instead of, say if she's working with somebody, instead of seeing their solid body, or say she was working with maybe an injury or a tumor or something like that, instead of seeing it in that solid place, she looks instead to where the energy was woven. Does that make sense? So or a little earlier, or a little open space. It's kind of like my arm. So many of you know that I fractured my arm a couple months ago, and it's still healing. And, for me, I'm really affirming and working with this as a transfiguration experience. And it's really cool to see the process and to learn about the process. So I'm sitting there with the doctor. I see the x-ray. There's gaps where the bone is fractured in the early stage. And then we look at the next x-ray, and it's starting to fill in. And what happens is the body actually weaves a new bone. That is so fascinating, isn't it? So it's, if I can go into the weave of where it is being woven, I can put in that weave my prayers of intention. So the right side of the body is the masculine side. It's the energy, it's the action, it's the thing we're doing and doing and doing in the world, right? And so if in the weaving place, I can place my prayers of ease, my prayers of joy, my prayers of simple pleasures, my prayers of openness and energy and movement, rather than, that kind of energy, then that intention will transfigure me on its own. I believe that. So that's a little bit of working with our co-creative principle and the allowing piece, having a little bit of an intention behind it and a giving over. It's more like how Jesus went into the crucifixion and resurrection, knowing those things were going to happen, but yet having to give over to it. And so it's kind of the same process for us. We may have some inkling or intention involved, but there's still a giving over. There's still a letting go. There's still an allowing, like the caterpillar or the snake. So, and there's also that experience of, many of you shook your heads when I said, have you seen somebody radiant before or changed to a radiant countenance? A lot of times that happens for people near death. If you've experienced that before, where somebody can even become kind of like translucent almost. Has anybody experienced that kind of radiance near death? Yeah, many of you. And so that beautiful gift that being gives you to see them in that way is a transfiguration experience. What's happened for that person is they've given over, right? They've allowed, that survival instinct is now beginning to fall away. And it's not just a bodily survival instinct, but actually what we hold to the most in our culture now is more psychological survival, more the ego survival. And so it's the giving over of that as well. Right? We are not in control. It's giving that over. I know it's always bad news. I always try to give it time to land, for me too, because it's good news. It's really good news. Because as we give over, we open up. We're more at ease. We're more allowing. We're more spontaneous. We're more alive. We're more heart-centered. We're more in the flow of the divine. And so it will naturally happen that our countenance will shift to that and give that gift to others everywhere we go, just simply by beholding the presence, like we would behold that magical butterfly and say, there has to be a God when we see those colors and that brilliance and that beauty, and to think that it has transfigured from this little creature that was crawling along. Still cute, little furry caterpillar. Not saying that. And so it is for us, this shifting, this changing and it doesn't have to be, near death. That's the point. It doesn't have to be that we wait until our final days to surrender over some of this instinct that says, I must stay alive, I must be in control, I must, which is kind of what the ego does. It's like it's in fear and it wants to manage things, but it can be a slow process of just giving over and giving over and giving over and allowing that transfiguration to happen through us. It doesn't have to be anything instantaneous or phenomenal in a sense. Adyashanti says in Resurrecting Jesus, the divine presence is no longer obscured by the view of unconsciousness in this transfiguration process. Such a one is no longer primarily a person, but a presence. That's really what we're coming to. We're shifting from being a person to being a presence. Very different, right? You know when you're in the presence of someone who's really being that true presence, that authentic presence, or a person, a personality, a persona. Very different. He says the personhood has been rendered transparent to the light of truth, the shining of the divine being. In the Gospel of Thomas, it talks about, I am everything. I am the light above everything. I am everything. Everything came forth from me, and everything reached me. It's back into the cosmos of the Christ, right? I am that I am from the very beginning, and I am right now as I sit here at Unity of Walnut Creek. I am the I am. And when I shift to knowing that I am the I am, it's like, everything's going to be okay. In fact, everything is brilliant. Everything is amazing. Everything is alive. Everything is exciting. I'm really glad to be here. We elevate in our consciousness, in our desire to be a part of this process of transfiguring our entire planet. Are you ready to do it? Yeah. We are that. We are the cosmic Christ. We are being transfigured, one beautiful, radiant face at a time. Let's know this together. Let's affirm the truth of this transfiguration and this luminous light that each of us are as the cosmic Christ. Together, I am the transfigured, luminous light of the cosmic Christ. I see it. Bless you.
Thank you, Kristen. There were so many wonderful things to think about, but I kept going back to there are no miracles. Because what you spoke about this today, when these spiritual events happen in our lives, they may not be every day, but they're truthful. They are who we are. So there's no miracles coming from the outside. It's what we let, as Myrtle Fillmore says, how to let God help you, right? Is when we allow these things to come forth. So that's the miracle. So thank you for that. Yo, bro. Our prayer chaplains are available after this service to provide personal prayer support. If you are a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. Cool, thank you. We got a house full. Thank you. Whether you have a joy or a concern on your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised up in consciousness. Guess what time it is? Prosperation, celebration time, yes. It's time for prosperity celebration. Yes. Why? Because you're prosperous. That's what we get celebrating. You're prosperous. Cool. It says, now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align to the universal law of circulation. As we give, so shall we receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature. You say that with me? Abundance is our true nature. And speaking of coming back to earth, for your convenience, there are a variety of ways to financially give to this community. For credit card donations, use Push Pay on your smartphone or take an envelope from the clipboard in the back of each chair. Those of you at home, you may use Push Pay or click on the Donate button on the Watch Live page. I invite you to take your tithe and your offering in your hand and repeat our affirmation with me. Together, divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
Amen. Ron, you're rocking. We'd like to thank the boys in the booth there. You guys are always amazing when we come here to set up and everything. You're so nice to us. And you're so good. Yeah. This is for you, Chris.
Connected by the air we breathe in, by the love we're feeling. We are all connected by the air we breathe in, by the love we're feeling. We are one. Yeah, we are all connected by the air we breathe in, by the love we're feeling. We are all the same things, crystal pools of eagle wings, golden sands and Saturn's rings. We are what life brings. We are walking stardust, lightning flash around us, riding on the love bus. We are what life brings. We are all connected by the air we breathe in, by the love we're feeling. Yeah, the love we're feeling. We are all connected by the air we breathe in, by the love we're feeling. From Uganda to Italy, branches of the same tree, floating leaves going downstream. This is how creation sings, here to be what we want to be. If one can see, we all can see, evolving our reality. This is how creation sings. This is how creation. This is how creation sings. This is how creation. This is how creation sings. We are all connected by the air we breathe in, yeah, yeah. By the love we're feeling. We are one. the air we breathe in, by the love we're feeling. We are all connected.
And it is through that energy of connection, that spirit of light, that we infuse these gifts and know that the gifts go out to infuse the world with our message and with all that we are and all that we have and all that we give. Let's speak our blessing together. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, unceasing flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is.
We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, marching. We are marching. Oh, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching. We are marching. Oh, we are marching in the light of God.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we came inside. We've been playing outside today. It is so beautiful, and you might have heard us drumming a little bit. We've been talking about the 4 sacred elements. And today, does anyone want to share what element we talked about today?
Earth.
Earth, yeah. So we were out on the earth, and we were expressing ourselves with the drums. And what else did we do? Anyone else want to share something we did today? You want to share? What?
We drummed.
We did. We drummed. And then what did we do after that? What did we do after we drummed?
Played.
We played. And we painted something. What did we paint? Oh, wait. What did
Pots.
Pots. We painted our flower pots today. Yeah. So that's a little glimpse of, and we want to thank Rich, who came out and who shared beautiful rhythms with us and taught us about the djembe and all the different drums, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Awesome. That is a great example of if you have something you want to share with the children as like a guest speaker, guest presenter, we welcome you, and go see Michelle if so. All right, let's bless our children and our teachers together. Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. And now I invite you to take your neighbor's hand if you feel comfortable doing so as we close out with the prayer of protection and the peace song. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. God are the love and the light and the peace on earth right now. So let your light shine and have fun.
I just want to thank you for what you bring to me. I just want to thank you. Your love has set me free. I just want to thank you for all you bring to me. Sweet God, I just want to thank you. Your love has set me free. Come on now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. La 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 la. La 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 la. Come on, baby. La 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 la. Thank you for what you bring to me. I just wanna thank you. Your love has set me free. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's for you, honey. This is your buddy over here. Yeah, do the other one.